What is up, everyone? Welcome to Clack Fancy.
Clack Fancy.
It's happening. How you doing, Chitty?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for this. So you're only going to see us for like 8 minutes. All right. Just real quick, we'll give you a quick rundown. Exclamation point schedule to look at the schedule that is going to be happening for tonight. If you are curious to know where this is, exclamation point CF, and you join on Discord. If you have not gotten on Discord, if you don't have a Discord account, you can watch it here, although I do highly recommend as a community member to be in a Discord and join our Discord, join the Clack Fancy Discord, all the fun Discord. But we will be streaming the events on this channel. So if you're not really feeling like hopping to Discord and talking to a lot of people, you just kind of want to sit back, observe from the back, this is the place to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of cool stuff happening. We have a vendor presentation from TheKeyCompany with Mint and Lautica. And then right after that, we have an artisan panel with tons of different artisan makers, some of my favorites. Moderated by Dankly Frank of Prime Caps. That'll be a good time. And then as well as 40s discussion with some 40s people, which will be a good chance for Chewy and I to learn a little bit more about a segment of the community that we are not well versed in. So that's going to be kind of the panels for this. We do plan on doing more of these. This is going to be something that we'll do more in the future. So there will be more panels later for other versions. So stay in the Discord, join it and stay in it. Get in the Discord, talk to people, hang out, show off boards, just talk. The whole thing about this is that people are stuck at home where we don't get to have meetups. We want people to interact with each other, hang out, have a good time, and just kind of chill and talk about keyboards, and maybe you end up talking about other stuff. Keep it nice and PG though. Don't do anything too crazy. But yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah, it looks like some people are saying the Discord link is messed up. I am working on that as we speak. So it should be let's see. So that link, it's the updated link. It should work. Let me know. We'll be keeping an eye on this chat as well. If you do have a question, please at MexOnDeck if you have a question or something you need help with in the chat. We're going to have it up. Like I said, we're not going to be on video. Cyrus and I are going to be moderating in the Discord some and kind of popping in those channels. White Packs, thank you for letting us know. The giveaways at 8 p.m. The giveaways are kind of throughout. You have to be in those videos, and you have to be there's a Google form in the Discord as well. You want those giveaways. Be sure there is a giveaway channel. It's the third channel down from the top on text channels on the giveaway. So be sure to check for free stuff.
Yeah. So should be a lot of fun. You can come join us, hang out here if you want to listen to the panels, if you want to talk to people, hang out, join the voice chats. I think there's already people going. There's been people in different chats for like the last couple hours. We've had people talking, like group 9 right now is popping off.
I totally just did that, and I don't ever do that on stream, and I just completely forgot because it's a weird night. My apologies, guys. We did that in 24-hour stream, though.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, group 9's popping off. Group 12, group 13, yeah, people are in there. People are hanging out. So if you want to join in there, if you want more information about things like giveaways, join the Discord. There is a giveaway channel that has the information about all that info. But yeah.
So yeah, it says group 9's full. Just kind of look, it's a little goofy. We'd love to be able to support more people, but sometimes it gets to the point where there are just so many people that everyone would be talking over each other, but you can't really talk over someone when everyone's volume's the exact same level. So just if you're wanting to kind of listen, just kind of keep an eye on it. I wish there was a better way we could do it where you could kind of join and listen, but just be like auto muted or something. But just keep an eye. Go in your own channel. There's a lot of different groups. There's I want to say there's 25 different groups. So meet some people. Use this as your chance to go meet some new people. Meet some people that maybe they have the exact same preferences of keyboards as you, and meet some new friends. This hobby is about community. It's about bringing people together. So just be sure to check that.
Yeah. With that being said, I think we're gonna throw it to a Be Right Back screen, and we will come back with our first panel, which will be with Meetup and I believe Jason from TheKeyCompany. They'll be hanging out, talking about what they do and all that jazz. So stick around, hang out, and we'll be back shortly.
Is that? Hi, everybody. Eric, I assume that we're live. Hi, everybody. So, for those of you that are watching, this is the presentation portion of Clack Fancy. And so, Clack Fancy is our virtual meetup Discord that we've created to hopefully help people feel less disconnected in pandemic times. So, this event here in August, we have 3 presentations. Starting with us here are my 2 lovely co-presenters, and they'll do all of the presenting of this segment. By the by, we have Mint Lodica of TheKeyCompany and Jason of TheKeyCompany. So they're going to walk us through some vendor things. When they have finished in about 40 minutes, we are going to bring on Frank of Prime Caps, and he has a panel of artisan makers that I believe everyone will be very excited about, and they will give about a 40-minute kind of back and forth. And then to round out everything, we're going to bring in our small key friends, and Wallet Burner is going to host a dialogue with 40s keyboard enthusiasts and designers. So without further ado, I'm just going to weirdly kind of be here. So I'll turn off my video, but I'll be here if you have questions. And you guys take it away. Tell me what we're talking about today.
All right, our general theme is herding cats. And if you haven't heard of that phrase before, it's kind of like a funny business term where all your team members are cats, so all your collaborators, they kind of have this independence, and the way you treat them or like how good the food is at your house is what brings them back and has them kind of purring and working together with you. So Jason and I are just actually it's kind of an event because Jason and I have been on streams for as guests and have given talks individually. This is actually the first time we're doing it together, so it's a monumental event. So yeah. Jason, do you actually want to talk about how TheKeyCompany started and its origin story?
Yeah, we can start off with that. I mean, you know the story, but for everybody tuning in, I know there's a lot of new people in this space these days. So this story kind of goes back, and maybe a lot of you have heard it, but for the new people, back in 2016, I met a guy on Reddit named Uncle Broody. If any of you guys remember him, he's still a really close friend of mine, and we made a trade over I think I traded him a carbon novelties kit or something for a taupe stump. And then we just started being friends. We says, hey man, all these vendors are like, these group buys are kind of shady. Like, we should start an actual business with customer service and an LLC, and like give people like a peace of mind when they join a group buy and a better customer experience. So we kicked off with the Terminal IC. It was really well received by the community. We went to group buy in January of 2017. And then from there, we kind of just ran little group buys in the background while we ran our full-time jobs. And then hit fast forward in 2018, late 20, mid 20, no, 2019. What year is it? Shit. last year,
2019, yeah.
around the winter of last year, I decided to start doing this full-time because I was really unhappy in my career. I launched several group buys one after another. It was like Scientific, Candy Bar, Katakana, and then Magic Girl, the wonderful set that Susan Mitlodica here created. And we became friends, and she just started guiding me through the process of managing teams because she has a great deal of management experience. So TKC is still here for the reason it started, that we want to provide a wonderful customer experience, great products, and just keep pushing the envelope, push this thing past the Reddits and the geek hacks and onto the desks of everybody in America who wants something better to type on and have more fun with their desk space. So that's why we started, and that's why we're still here. We're just a lot bigger now.
For sure. I think especially for the new people, most of y'all probably maybe noticed mostly as business people, but we're both originally huge key bleeps. So we that is still like our underlying like connection, and especially for our friendship, we connected and met through that group buy.
You had a lot of questions when you ran Magic Girl. You hadn't ran a group buy before. I had ran several, and we got through it. I think it came out awesome, right? I mean, it was the best-selling set of 2019 for us, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So some history there. I know newcomers might want to run their own group buys, which I admire y'all very deeply for having that ambition. I had come from a background where I ran my art business, so I knew how difficult it was to not only design and market your own stuff, but to like do your own customer service and fulfill it yourself and figure out technical production details, supply chain, finance. These are all no one they're no joke for one person to do. So hence
Yes.
our collaboration.
Just like I told you when we first met, and for everybody out there who's thinking about maybe running a group buy, getting the group buy, developing the product and marketing the product, that's really the fun part. That's the fun phase. Getting everybody talking about something new, and it's something you created and you're passionate about it, and you get all this great feedback and you feel good. You're on a high. You start running it, you sell it, you get all these orders, things feel great. Well, the real work begins months later when those products arrive. You have to sort through them, fulfill them, deal with the post office and all the shipping providers. And then even more so weeks later when you start dealing with the customer service tickets, like, hey, I didn't get a R3 page down or whatever it might have been. My package in pre-shipment. Why is my package in Sweden? I live in Canada. These probably all sound familiar to people. But that's when the tough stuff starts happening. And if you don't have a system of resources in place, it can be difficult.
Sure. And that's like for one group buy, right? Imagine doing that and having all those complications come up for like 20 group buys you concurrently run. I think that's, if you agree, Jason, like that's the part that's really invisible for people.
It is. It can be very stressful. That's why it's the end of the night and I'm drinking.
Same.
I think we're fulfilling. How many group buys are we fulfilling this week? It's a lot,
At
right?
least 4. Oh,
Yeah.
and depends on how you count our desk mats. If that's one or like one.
Yeah, if you count all the desk mats, there's like several in that shipment. So, I mean, between this week and next week, I think we're fulfilling probably a dozen group buys.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Yeah, so that's fun, right?
It is really nice to get to that point. The stuff that happens in the middle. There are some fun stories. I remember once in a team meeting we had joked about a container falling into the ocean, God forbid. And I think someone else on the team was like, wait, I know you're joking, but that literally almost happened to one of our collaborators.
No, it literally happened to one of our
Oh,
collaborators.
it did happen to him. Okay.
It happened.
Shout out to Steph. He
Yeah,
really
sorry, bro. We love
took
you.
it like a champ.
Yeah, I'll pour out a little liquor for your tree desk mat, bro. Just a little
Just
though.
imagine all that work and then you almost get it to your fulfillment center and it fucking falls into the Atlantic or Pacific, some ocean, and on the earth.
One of the 5. But the things like all those moving parts that happen in between, is handled by our team, which was mainly assembled by you because you are one of the best people I've ever met at sourcing talent. You just seem to find all the hidden gems, and everyone on our team just excels at what they do. We put them into certain spots. Susan manages them. Just to give you a little background on how things work. I kind of just fix all the problems and find the products and make the relationships, where Susan is the one kind of just, I guess, herding the cats, so to speak, with the internal team, as well as some of the external collaborators. But you make the magic happen because I'm terrible at that.
Actually, one of my favorite things you ever said about me was that you said that I have this people management voodoo. And I really think our business relationship works really well because you're really great at building rapport. I just saw you like basically the stranger when we were talking to a account executive at Shopify. Like we didn't know him. We had never talked to him before. And I instantly watched Jason befriend this guy. Like we found out he was from the same metro area and by the end of the 1-hour call, they're going to hang out in Toronto one day. So that's Jason's magic. And then what I do is, it's really hard to measure, but it's like day-to-day finding people who want to do this work, wear many hats, which is another business term to say that when you have a team that's like 7 people, 7-ish, we have a lot of really great collaborators that I can't imagine working without at this point. But like, you have to really like switch modes and be able to pick up work. So maybe one of y'all, for the y'all who like bought lube in our last in stock sale, the boss might have been the one packing it because Jason actually ended up packing the last bit of the lube after our hired help didn't finish it. So
high school kid didn't quite finish, so the CEO was down in the lube packing room putting labels on lube for about 3 hours.
Yeah, so this is like kind of, I think what the leaders show and like the principles we hold for our team and for our collaborators kind of just like trickles down. So nothing's beneath either of us. Like
Right.
If I was physically in Michigan, I would have also gone to the office and be like, I just put slap labels on this lube so we get it out.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe I should have all of you guys move to Michigan, and then we can all just pack lube on like Thursday nights or something. I can order pizza and
So I'm sorry to hop in here, just kind of at a weird second. But the struggle of having the CEO packing lube brings an important question into my brain that I kind of want to ask that might help with some herding the cats conversation, just because I think a lot of people are curious about it. A conversation that comes up a lot in the community is price, right? Like, when you're looking at a set, right, that is sold on your site, I don't want you to give away, confidential information that's specific to your business, but, it's more than just the cost of the caps, say, or more than just the cost of the keyboard. Can you speak a little bit to what factors into those decisions on that pricing? And the thing that piqued my interest was when you, Susan, said, you have a team, which I feel like is rare in the community. So I just wanted to maybe ask that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll handle part of this. I mean, so there's several things that kind of add up to it, and there's no magic number for, what portion of each of these expenses is included in the price of those keycaps. But there's a certain level of a certain percentage of margin that has to be, seen on a sale for a set to keep the wheels moving and make it a profitable endeavor. So you've got the cost of the caps, you've got the cost of renders, the hours that the marketing department puts into creating the marketing and things like that. Sets you got to give away to other people to check out. Then the actual cost, like I said, of the keycaps, cost of shipping them to the United States, the incredible amount of duty you pay on caps from China. So Infinity is made in China, and the duty tariff rate on it is 25%. There's no getting around it. Then what else you got? You got fulfillment costs, support costs. You get your set, you got a busted up space bar. Well, I don't have an extra space bar, but I got an extra set. Things like that. So it's and plus the royalties to the designer. Those things are all just parts of what make it up. And the company itself has fixed overhead. So you've got merchant processing fees, software expenses, payroll. What am I missing here?
Yeah, kind of just to expand on the collaborate a bit, like one of our core principles when we designed how we handle all of that was that we want to pay creators for their work. And I've seen the murmurs. I hear that some people think our fees are low, which is fair at a flat rate. If you consider the scale and the reach and how much work we do to help market and fulfill those sets, it kind of is conducive for folks who understand what that's like to come work with us. And we also provide a lot of flexibility. So, for example, our hosts, wanted to donate their share of the designer fee to a charity. So we made that happen, and we're matching it for each base kit sold. So that's something we designed intentionally as part of this like kind of scheme of dark arts of paying things and people intentionally so.
No, that's part of it. I understand people's frustration. I remember when I was a kid, I got birthday money, and my dad took me to Toys R Us to buy a video game it was probably for like Nintendo, honestly, like the NES. Yeah, I just dated myself, didn't I? But I remember thinking, I was like, man, this is like $39 or $30 or something like that. And I'm thinking, this is just a piece of plastic with a circuit board in it. This thing couldn't cost more than $4 to make. But then, as an adult, you look back on on that thought that you had, and then you take into account like, well, they had to pay developers to make and like create the game with the intellectual property that's contained therein, distribute it to people, market it to people, pay for the intellectual property that they used, because if it's like a superhero game or something, that you got to pay royalties to the owner of that IP, things like that. So there's all these things behind the scene that you don't see. And another thing that I think some people overlook, because I see a lot of it with newcomers, they sell things very low margin, which is fine. I mean, if it's like a hobby for you and you just want to like, it's just like a fun thing you do on the weekend to make a couple extra bucks, that's cool. More power to you. Except that when you don't make enough profit, you leave yourself in a position where you cannot scale your business. And if you can't scale your business, you're not gonna succeed. I mean, right? This is hard. I don't know how to do this without being interviewed. I've never done this before. So if we have these long pauses, I don't know. This is not my forte.
No worries.
Well, thankfully, you've got a host here if you need one.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Here's my chaperone, Mr. Lang.
The one thing that always boggles my mind about these logistics and costs that I'm sorry, Susan, if you mentioned it and I missed it. I'm trying to do stuff on the side too. But the cost of boxes alone is something that gets so overlooked. It
Yeah,
has to be
bubble
factored
wrap.
into decisions when you sell 1,000 of something.
Yes.
Oh, great! Now I get to spend $5,000 just on fucking boxes. Like,
Not just
I
the
know what
box.
happened with Magic Girl. We were like, free boxes with every order above $50. Oh shit, this costs money.
Yeah, thousands of dollars. Plus, you got to ship the boxes.
Yeah, we have to
Exactly.
put it in another box so that people can get the box.
Another thing to consider too, it's like with things like keycaps, because the lead times are kind of, we want to have short lead times. That's something I strive
Yeah.
for. I love instant gratification. I love Amazon Prime. I like overnight shipping. That shit is awesome. With keycaps and keyboards, you guys know that's not a thing, right? Unless you're buying it maybe on like Mech Market secondhand, but you're paying triple the price. So short lead times is something I've always strived for. So what we do is we ship everything, all of our key sets that come from Infinity, we ship them Air Express 2 days. That is not cheap. Even when you call DHL and you wheel and deal with them, I mean, I'm still paying. My last bill from DHL was $15,000. That was for one shipment. Just to give you
That's
some
insane. And then definitely with the pandemic, things have changed. So for example, we had assumed that, oh, well, maybe we can airship test mats too. Well, those suckers are 2 pounds each, which I'm sorry for all the people who are in the US. I don't know what the kgs are on that, but it's heavy. It's not
it's about a
cheap.
kilogram. A kilogram is like 2.2 pounds. So
Yeah,
which is,
so
I mean,
Well, 2
it's
desk mats.
Amazon era, and it's like people expect shipping to be free, but do we charge $50 a desk mat and say 50 is free, or do we? These are all the little decisions that each of us have to make.
well, and the
No,
crazy
there
thing
daily
too is
basis.
like the second that you involve freight, everything gets messed up too, because like, you know, you look at GMK sets that recently ran, like Cafe took forever to get to the US because it was on pallets, whereas Delta ran after and came somehow leapfrogged it to get into the US first. So maybe you can talk about your choices to use or not use freight at Key Company.
You mean air freight versus ocean freight?
Yeah, just in general, like, you know, once you add that logistical challenge of heavy duty freight, you know,
Well,
what does that
so
factor in?
with items, so like with desk mats, and I mean, we can't get too into like our processes because
Well,
some of it's
obviously.
stuff that we, so we won't give up the whole, what do you call it? Give you the keys to the kingdom, so to speak.
There you
But
go. There you go. That's fair.
with desk mats, we have it structured in such a way that we make our orders on a certain time, in a certain time frame with an expected production time, and then we calculate our expected shipping time because we have all these things scheduled. So we can do those on a boat and keep the costs down basically. With keycaps and keyboards, things like that. When we come up with the pricing that we're gonna have for MSRP, we take into account that we're going to be shipping it via air. And the problem is, some of them, I mean, our rates were a lot cheaper pre-COVID. They've gone up about 50%, 30 to 50% since COVID. So it's expensive shipping air.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the bottom line.
Now, just so that everyone in chat is aware too, there's occasionally, a lot of people that join meetups happen to be newer to the community, and or maybe are skew younger. So I know what it means, but what is MSRP when you're talking about that and pricing?
Well, MSRP is just a common industry business term, manufacturer suggested retail price. So basically, it's like the price we're selling it for.
Yeah, of course.
We just do retail price. I mean, we have a wholesale price as well that we sell to the proxies with, but so basically the price you're paying for it. And then, once it's in stock, group buy, you enjoy a little bit of a lower price. In stock products, you're going to pay a little bit more of a premium because we floated the money to manufacture those sets. We take a risk of sitting on them, so we have to charge a little more. But you do get instant gratification with those, so that's kind of nice if you're lucky enough to jump in on one.
Good. Okay, so go ahead.
No, I'm trying to catch so Susan, who is one of the greatest note takers in the world, she prepared some notes for this thing because I knew it was going to kind of go all over the place because I'm a scatterbrain. I'm trying to figure out where we left off because we were kind of getting around. Is there any topics or points that you guys in the audience is expecting or wants to hear us talking about in regards to this? I want to make sure
this is a meetup for the people. So
this is a good one that I think is a good jumping off point. So There's a comment about choosing to ship by sea for a lesser impact on the environment, and whether there is a lesser impact on the environment by how freight, calculates carbon emissions on the ocean versus the air. That's a different conversation. As a business, what are some things that you choose to do in a more responsible sense, a la, taking care of the planet? Are there steps that you currently take or are working towards implementing that, help take better care of the earth so we can enjoy keyboards longer? Maybe that's a poorly worded question, but
I'll jump in with that. I mean, because honestly, and I'm ashamed to say it because I'm a big recycler. I like to do things. I try to take care of the planet and be as responsible as I can. Now, with our current operations, since we're scaling so rapidly and we're kind of just guessing most of the time about demands and things like that, our supply chain there's really no way to predict our supply chain whatsoever. We have to rely on things like air shipping just to keep people happy because people have a certain expectation for how long it takes to receive a product that you buy. Now, in the future, I would love to see a way to be more responsible about shipping and moving these things around, but unfortunately, we're not. There is one thing that I've done recently, though, that I think people will be happy to know. So our keyboards, like the candy, if any of you have a candy bar, you open up the box, you have that beautiful chunk of foam in there. It's a really nice thing that you could probably display if you wanted to, if anyone's got one handy. I don't. I'm in my backyard. I don't have anything handy. What I've chosen to do on future group eyes, which you're going to see coming up in probably October-ish, it's this fancy box. There's a big chunk of EVA foam inside of there to nest your beautiful candy bar in. So what I've decided to do, because I can't just ship you a keyboard wrapped in bubble wrap, I just feel like that's just not cool. I like unboxing things. Instead of the box, we're going to start doing like reusable carrying cases. So maybe not less of a carbon footprint, but we're providing with something that's reusable versus something that you're just going to throw away.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're working with a negative outcome, right, and a net zero, right, but it's something that's reusable instead of just taking up space in a landfill,
just
I think that's still a net gain.
Just change the game a little bit, just change the way you think.
So, Susan, if you've got any thoughts on that, I'll allow you to answer. I've got another question too. So we've got some good engagement from chat. So there we go.
I don't have much to add, but I've definitely gotten DMs about what we've done to try to work towards sustainability and recycling. Yeah. And I know Jason has personally told me about another business idea. I won't spoil it on the stream, but these are things we both care about.
Yeah, we did have a good.
We need deep leaks, okay? Deep leaks. That's why you're here, right?
It's always hard running a business because every day you got to choose between 40 different things to prioritize, and realistically, maybe you can do up to 2 things. So that said, we definitely both care about this personally, and we will work towards it.
Well, good. So thank you, by the way. The question that came here was specific to Keyboard University. So the person asking says, good idea. What are the plans for the future? There seems to be community-wide at least some form of a gap in information for beginners or learning and development in that space. So as the community continues to grow, what are your thoughts on expanding a more formal learning process or plans for Keyboard University or what have you?
You want to take this one, Susan? Because I mean, you're a big part of that project.
Sure. I would like to give a shout out first to Sleek Keyboards and Latte, who is on our staff. They're the ones really doing a lot of the work and driving the efforts on Keyboard University.
Yeah, we're sleeping in the back seat.
We're just the managers.
I'm the dude passed out in the back seat at this point. It was my idea, but I don't do much with it.
Yeah, we recognized that, at least for us, we decided that it was important as a growing business that we reach a lot of newcomers into the hobby and provide spaces for them to understand and learn and decide how much they want to engage with. Some people might just want a pre-built hot swap keyboard. So I actually have some under my camera here, like this. And they just want to put some cute keycaps on it. That's totally cool and fine. That's one thing I've personally tried to do with my space in the Cute Keyboard Club. And some people might actually want to build a board. So we actually had a friend, Nicole's, that's their username, do a special edition Discipline with Corey's blessing that actually has some cute logos on the back. Fun. And people were building this kit. So
I love it.
Kind of a nice thing. But for Keyboard University, we have most of our 101 courses published, so that was what we prioritized. And slowly we're working towards our backlog of like 200, 300, and 400 level courses. And eventually we want to open that up to guest professors and lecturers so that everyone in the community can kind of contribute and like put together this resource that's going to help folks kind of understand what is this about and how can I be a part of it.
That's cute. I like it.
There's a lot of fantastic resources in the community and people who are willing to help, people who have wealths of knowledge that they're willing to share. And we want to tap into that and bring it to Keyboard University. The problem, the challenging thing with that is just sifting through all of it. So if we open up a thing like, hey, you want to write an article for us, give us a submission. Well, now we got to find someone who's going to read all those submissions, choose the best ones, let the community maybe sift through them. And then you got to do, you have to do an editorial type thing on it and go through the typing and the wording, things like that. So it's difficult. It's very time consuming, but we want to provide really good, clear content that's well organized and not turn into just like a giant pile of mess that you can't navigate. That was something that was really important to me. I wanted to be easy to find what you need on there.
Yeah, because the community isn't lacking for individuals with lots of knowledge or the ability to disseminate that knowledge. The community seems to be lacking a central hub for that knowledge, which I think is why people were very excited for Keyboard University to put everything in one central place. Because if it's easy to use, and I happen to be an L&D professional in my actual job, so if it's easy to use, people will use it, right? So the fact that there's all this information out there is almost off-putting, because it's not in an easy to consume form. So continuing the topic, and this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, and I don't necessarily need you to talk about specificity, okay? As a vendor, when you have someone that comes to you with a set that maybe is taking inspiration from something, you know, do you have a process for vetting that of, like, what is your, you know, cost benefit analysis of this is really fantastic, we should do this? Is the juice worth the squeeze, you know, to pardon the phrase?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's a magic formula, right?
I mean, no bullshit, like Magic Girl is based on some very famous anime we all know about. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it, but that was something I definitely personally kind of tread carefully. Like, everything I drew was my own work. I never referenced the IP. And I think we were able to have the benefit of, at least last year in 2019, it was a smaller audience and hobby, so fly under the radar. And as we grow, that's like a very real thing we're going to have to really think through and deal with. So we're definitely building processes and being thoughtful about, like, what does that look like in our future?
When there's more reach, there's a better chance of their lawyer seeing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Litigation is very serious.
Well, yeah, and as a small business, which I can't think of outside of maybe Drop, a company large enough in that plays in this space that could actually go to litigation with someone, and maybe not even Drop. Like, you know, if you get a letter that's like, don't, like, okay, sounds good. Like, what are you gonna do?
I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about, and we're like, you know, with your set that we worked on, we worked real closely with our attorneys. We read through trademark paperworks, publications, and things like that to be extremely specific and careful about the things we picked and choose. But I mean, it's like you said, it's like, was the juice worth the squeeze? Like in the instance of 808 Boom, yes, it absolutely was. That set's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And since music is a big part of my life, and most of the songs I grew up listening to, yes, most of the music I grew up listening to was made on the device that was the inspiration for that. It hit close to home, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to see that happen. So, you know, are we at risk? Possibly. I think the chance is very, very low. With other sets that we ran, maybe we were a bit irresponsible, and we won't do things like that again in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and, you know,
I don't mean to like ask a hard question. Obviously, you know, people that are tuned into the community aren't blind to these things, right? So I'm very interested, especially if you're someone that's like, you know, plugged in, how you now react to that, because you know, obviously you make, you know, like, you put processes in place to avoid certain things, and you don't just start a business and you have all these processes in place. Like, you know, you have to have missteps or mistakes or whatever you want to call them to flesh that out sometimes.
Yes. No, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's something I see a lot is every time there's a big mistake, you can get mad about it and get upset and lose sleep over it and beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Personally, whenever I make a mistake or find a mistake that happened, I look at it as an opportunity to fix something that wasn't right in the first place.
Sure.
So like mistakes aren't necessarily always a bad thing. You know, maybe like in the short game, the short term, they're a bad thing, but in the long term, mistakes are good. They teach you what's wrong with your business. They help you find those weak spots in your armor, if you will, and your weak links in your chain. I can't think of a good metaphor right now, but
It's okay.
they identify those issues that you need to focus on. And like Susan said, you got 40 things you want to do tomorrow. You're only going to get 2 of them done.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to do? You're going to patch that hole, you know, and fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so pivoting a little bit, but same topic. So someone asked specifically about, you know, how difficult is it in general to get licensing, right? I assume it's different for companies, and I assume that there's things that are in the works that you can't talk about. But, you know,
Right.
can you kind of go into and you know, I'm going to specifically ask Susan because I feel like I'm taking up the lion's share of time talking to Jason right now. But can you go into like what that is like for you to approach a big scary company and say, I want to do this thing with my business. What is this licensing going to take? You know, have you guys done that already? And I'm just curious.
Right. We're not gonna let any cats out of the bag, but that's definitely
Well,
one
no,
of
please don't. But
many
just the
things
process, you know, like
we're thinking about and working on in the background. Especially as we level up and grow as a business. We invested in InfiniKeys specifically so we can have the capacity and like control over the process to make sure that it is as good as and we can deliver on our promises as possible. So that's definitely in a direction we're going in.
good. And I know that no one on stream could see that or maybe cared about it, but there has been one fruit fly in my office for the last 2 days, and I finally killed him just now
Yay!
while you were talking. So I'm sorry, but I had to share that. It's been driving me crazy. Bastard's dead. I had dead body proof. He's gone. Jason, you know, the former life, current life, you know, before Susan, working with Susan, is it terrifying to approach this large company and say, this idea you have, I want to use it too? Like, what is that like for you?
Honestly, it used to be like when I'd walk into a meeting in my previous job too, that I had a business before TKC. You know, I would have to walk in and talk and try to sell myself to larger businesses. So, I mean, I would always get really nervous. I get clammy, you know, it's intimidating as hell. Like you're this little fish asking this big fish for, you know, their business. Things have kind of progressed. And now like having conversations with larger companies is almost just like another day at the office for me. So I don't get too nervous. When it's a personal interest of mine though, when like it's something I'm really excited about or like a personal passionate thing, then I tend to go back to my old ways and start getting clammy and do the Ricky Bobby thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
I always use that. I'm like, don't pull a Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I hope my wife's
Jesus.
watching. I used to watch that movie all the time.
Oh, I hope she is. Okay, so I want to be as adult as I can about all this. You know, we've slotted 40 minutes for you guys to talk and share, you know, what it's like to be a vendor. You know, we've got 5 minutes left. Are there topics that you had intended on talking about that you know, you didn't get a chance because I'm in here now and talking is my game? I want to just leave the last 5 minutes to, you know, wrap it up on your end, and I'm continuing to look for questions if you need them. So
No, we appreciate you jumping on. You can help the flow.
it can be hard
Yeah.
sometimes, right? You know, it's just two people that talk all day. Like now we have to do this kind of more formal thing. Like it feels weird. So
Yeah. Some notes I had. We definitely, we already gave a shout out to Keyboard University. We definitely want that to be a great resource for newcomers. And I just want to highlight something that we conducted in our 2019 end of year survey. We saw that a third of the respondents that we had been in the hobby for less than a year. And I'm sure with the pandemic and everything, that has grown in number. So shout out to all the newcomers to this hobby and its craziness, and rip to your wallets. There's just going to be more things coming down the pipeline that you'll want to be a part of.
Rip. And that, that's and again, obviously TheKeyCompany is a business and they're here and they've got a platform and they've got some fantastic products and I have worked with them before. But I think the same goes for so many vendors and just the hobby in general. It has exploded. Like you have this interesting kind of Venn diagram of people that are brought to the hobby because of gaming with, from Nathan Kim, and people that are brought to the hobby because they want to type on something nice at home because they're stuck at home in a pandemic now. And, all of this is coming together. Maybe they're spending their stimulus money on keyboards. Ooh, I was gonna ask after my rant, what is on your desk right now? Obviously, Jason, you probably are on a fucking laptop or something. But
Yeah,
I don't know. You've got a beautiful green candy bar there, Susan.
You actually don't type on it because I'm an Ergodox user. I have
Well,
needs.
You are Ergodox 50-cent approved user.
Oh, I know, that was so wild. I cannot
You should
believe
take the
that
last 3
happened.
minutes.
I want 90 seconds to know what that day
Tell
was
that
like.
story. You have
Meeting
to.
50 Cent. Please talk
Actually,
about that.
I did not get to meet him, but I think it was better that way. I was literally on my 101 weekly. So Jason and I have a weekly call. We meet for about an hour or two. We just talk about things. And then I was just like, told him, yo, I think something weird just happened. All my teammates are DMing me from BuzzFeed. I used to work at BuzzFeed, and I was just advising for TheKeyCompany back then. 50 Cent sat on my desk, and he typed on my keyboard. And this is actually the keyboard he typed on. Over here on
It's
the side.
so heckin' cute. I showed it to my wife, and she lost her mind. Doxed,
so that was wild.
literally.
So Curtis was at my desk typing on my keyboard because he was filming for some sort of Twitter segment that BuzzFeed does. And technically, celebrities are not allowed to cruise around and just socialize with people, but I guess he's Curtis, so they let him get away with it.
Like, he's Curtis.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Dude.
My direct report back then was like, take one of her stickers. So that 50 Cent has my Magic Girl sticker. I don't know where he stuck it, but he got one.
And if he or his publicists are watching, with the chances of that are very low, but if they are, the offer stands. We will make you a keyboard 50.
Listen, Curtis, I will build it on my stream for you. I don't even care. No stress. No pressure.
Home gold.
We'll put
whatever
50
you want.
brass Salvon keypacks for you, I'm sure. I've just volunteered him to do that, but I bet he will for Curtis.
Oh, yeah.
All brass keyboard.
I mean, Salvin's a business, right? He'll take your money. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
Come on, 50.
So I would like to say a big thank you. I know that we kind of, it felt like haphazardly through this meetup together. And I want to say a very special direct thank you to Susan. She DM'd me and said, I've presented a lot in my past. Would you mind if I spoke? And, she brought on Jason to give a little help today too. And thank you both very much. I hope that questions about price or what it's like to be in a vendor have given newer people a little bit of a window into the community. But a big thank you to both of you. So
thank you, Link, for having us.
Anytime.
We're really honored just to be part of the inaugural Clack Fancy event.
Hell yeah, we're gonna have more editions of Clack Fancy. It's a subscription service. So
I'm glad. I've known a lot of people in this since I've been in this industry and this business, and you're definitely one of my favorites.
Well, thank you. It's been quite the journey. I have a lot of friends helping all of this happen right now. I'm just happen to be lucky enough to be talking to you guys. So
I have one question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Is that car still parked out in front of your house?
No, after 40 days, it was finally gone. After 40 days. It was like a 90s. It's Bay. If you go to my Instagram, you can see all of the stories I posted. It was days of terribleness.
You asked me to make a desk mat of it. I
did make a desk mat, or I commissioned a desk mat. Let me give credit to Jinli Bean. She's one of our mods. She is a fantastic artist, and you can pay her to make beautiful art for you. But that said, in the interest of time, thank you both very much. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to DM Mr. Frank and say, hey, man, how about you hop in? Here, I'll even do it.
Thank you all so much for tuning in.
How about you hop in?
If anybody wants to ask some questions, I'll jump in the stream
and
chat.
these two, at least, Jason said that he would be able to stay around. I know it's a little later for Susan right now, but they're going to be around for questions if there's any questions that we didn't answer or you want to ask them directly or talk to them about things. So they're going to hang around for a little while. So they'll be in the Discord. You can at them with their names. Oh, Kitty. Kitty. Hello, Kitty.
Oh, yeah,
a big cat. And don't you have a Doge?
Has new Jelly Boy your presence?
In the house.
I'm getting
can do
pokes for
this while we
DSA Scientific
transition.
Round 2.
Transition to our next
Oh,
presenters.
cute. Look at this pet sharing, keyboard sharing. Look at all this love.
It's curfew. He knew it was time to go in the house, so
What a punk. Marco was a punk.
that dog is a punk.
Yeah, this
He
dog.
unpacked my suitcase when we were in Dayton.
Oh yeah, Jason had the pleasure of meeting Grass Jelly. He was a little Tasmanian devil.
He is a Tasmanian devil. So yeah, I'll jump in that server chat and answer questions if anybody wants to talk.
I love it.
And about
Thank you guys very much. I'm
I'll
just
hang out
grabbing our friend Dankly Frank, and here we go. Nice. We're going to toss up a BRB screen for just a minute, and we'll come right back. Okay, friends?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
everybody.
thank you.
Have a good night.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. So we have next up is the Casters Cup panel. They are actually already going on the Chat versus Everything channel, so I'm going to go ahead and raid them. And we will be back on this channel for our last panel of the day. So they're going to go live over there. You can check it out. It's talking about different things with artisans. and we'll be back here for our final panel of the day. So I will see y'all in a little bit while I get this all set up. But yeah, so make sure you get involved in that raid, and we'll see you here soon. You got Hungerworks Studio, Prime Caps, Death Caps, Blood Caps, and Bad Caps are all involved in this. So go check it out, see what's happening, have a good time, and we will be back in about an hour.